Okay, let's unpack this. We are diving into a really compelling text today, Francis Bacon's New Atlantis. It's unfinished, but it describes this place, Bensalem.
Right. This island society, completely cut off, isolated, but somehow incredibly advanced.
Exactly, and it feels less like just a fantasy story and more like a blueprint, maybe. A radical design for a nation run entirely by, well, by knowledge.
And the source of that knowledge, the real engine of their power, is what Bacon calls Solomon's house.
Or the College of the 6 Days Works. Quite a name.
It is. And its purpose, laid out right there in the text, is for interpreting of nature and the producing of great and marvelous works for the benefit of man. It's all about understanding and undoing.
So our mission for this deep dive is to really get into the sources, figure out the core pillars of what made Bensalem tick. How did they get so powerful?
And how did they stay hidden for, what, almost 2,000 years?
Yeah, that isolation piece is huge. And then what about their values? What kind of moral code did they have that, justified all this technology and secrecy?
Okay, so let's start where the story starts with the discovery. We follow this ship of European sailors lost 5 months out from Peru, basically at the end of their rope.
And they finally see land, this beautiful city. But the welcome, not exactly warm at first.
No, not at all. They try to land, and these locals show up carrying bastons like long wooden sticks, basically.
Staves, yeah. Waving them off. The message is clear. Go away.
But then, right away, you see this strange mix in Bensalem's system. It's rigid, but there's also this, compassion.
How so?
Well, this small boat comes out, an official, carrying a yellow cane, and he gives them this document, a scroll.
And this scroll is pretty amazing in itself.
It really is. Written in 4 languages. Think about that: ancient Hebrew, ancient Greek, good Latin, and Spanish.
Wow.
And the message, it perfectly captures that tension. It says, you've got 16 days to leave. Harsh. But then
it asks them what they need.
Exactly. List your needs: water, food, victuals. The text says repairs for the ship, and crucially, help for anyone who's sick.
And it's signed with a stamp, cherubim wings, and a cross.
And for these sailors, seeing that cross, well, Bacon says it was a certain presage of good.
Yeah.
Huge relief, comfort.
So Bacon immediately links this powerful hidden place to, Christian authority.
He does. But right after that comfort comes a test, a moral barrier. Before they get any help, they have to swear an oath.
What kind of oath?
Swearing by the Savior that they aren't pirates, and also that they haven't shed blood, lawfully nor unlawfully, within 40 days past.
40 days, that's specific. So it's like confrontation, then this incredible sophistication with the languages, then a moral check. Quite the first impression.
It really sets the stage.
Yeah.
And you see this integrity, or this attempt at it, in the officials too, like the notary.
Oh, right, the guy who refused the tip.
Yeah. The sailors are obviously relieved. They offer him money, pistolets, or even crimson velvet. And he just smiles and says, basically, I can't be paid twice for doing my job.
Because he gets a decent salary from the state?
Exactly. He must not be twice paid for one labor.
That single detail speaks volumes, doesn't it? Bacon seems to be saying that the way to ensure integrity isn't just telling people to be good.
It's about removing the reason to be corrupt. Structure matters. A good state salary prevents government vice. It builds trust.
And this trust allows the sailors, who are now guests of the state essentially, to be taken care of. They go to the stranger's house,
which is described as this large, clean building made of bluer brick. Nice rooms, cheerful apparently, and a big infirmary section.
Very organized, that infirmary. 17 cells partitioned with cedar wood, like a dormitory or a dorture, the text calls it.
Right, and they're kept there for 3 days. For rest, sure, but you have to assume also for observation, quarantine. The conservator of health is mentioned.
The 6 sailors?
They recover incredibly quickly, almost unnervingly fast. They're given these scarlet oranges.
Like supposedly smell great and protect against infection.
That's what they're told. And also these small gray or whitish pills. The recovery is so dramatic, the sailors feel like they were cast into some divine pool of healing.
So is Bacon hinting at actual miracles here? Or is it that Bensalem's medicine is just so advanced it looks like magic to outsiders?
Given what comes later with Solomon's house, I think the second option is far more likely. It's our first real clue about the sheer power they possess. Almost like alchemy, but real.
Which brings us right to the core of Bensalem, how they stayed hidden, their isolation. A new governor shows up this time, a Christian priest wearing a white turban with a red cross. And he spills the beans.
Pretty much. He explains that, Bensalem isn't really known to the outside world, but crucially, It knoweth most of the nations of the world. They know about us. We don't know about them.
And the key is this ancient law, the Law of Secrecy.
Put in place 1900 years before by their great king Solomon. And it absolutely forbids strangers entering without permission.
But Bacon is careful to contrast this with other isolated places, right? He mentions China.
He does. He critiques China's isolation, saying it made them curious, ignorant, fearful, foolish. Bensalem's isolation isn't about fear. It seems to be about sufficiency, confidence.
Protecting what they've built. Solomon wanted perpetuity for the state he established. So isolation as a shield for their, well, perfection. Scientific, moral, governmental.
And to really drive this home, the governor then kind of rewrites all of human history for the sailors.
Yeah, this part is wild. He claims that 3,000 years ago, global sea travel was actually more advanced than in the sailors' time.
Right. He mentions Phoenicians, Egyptians, China, and even the great Atlantis, which Bacon clearly identifies as America, all trading with big ships across vast oceans.
So he's flipping the script on European exploration, and then he tackles Plato's Atlantis story head-on.
Corrects it, really. Says the destruction of that ancient American civilization he calls the regions Coya, Peru, and Turambo, Mexico, wasn't some continent-sinking earthquake.
No, it was a flood, a particular deluge.
And not even that deep, apparently. Not past 40 feet deep in most places. But it lasted long enough to wipe out civilization, kill people and animals, leaving only scattered survivors in the mountains.
Which explains, according to Bensalem, why America seems sparsely populated and rude or undeveloped to the Europeans.
Exactly. There are young people, the governor says, younger 1,000 years at the least than the rest of the world, because their civilization had to restart. Bensalem presumably survived this catastrophe thanks to their superior knowledge and ships.
It's such an audacious claim, just completely reframing world history around themselves.
It is staggering. But Bensalem isn't just defined by isolation and knowing history better than anyone else. There's this intense focus on moral purity.
We hear about this from Jobin, right? A Jewish merchant living there.
Yes. And he describes Bensalem as the virgin of the world, the most chaste a nation.
And they apparently look down on European customs.
Oh, absolutely. Especially Europe, allowing dissolute houses, brothels. They think it undermines marriage, makes it transactional.
Puts marriage out of office is the phrase, I think.
That's the one. They believe it leads men to delay marriage or to marry just for status, money, connections, alliance, or portion or reputation, instead of seeking a real, faithful nuptial union.
So what's the alternative? How do they maintain this chastity?
It seems rooted in self-discipline, promoted by the culture. There's a key line Jobin shares. They say that the reverence of a man's self is, next religion, the chiefest bridle of all vices.
Self-respect is the main thing, holding back bad behavior. That's interesting. It's internal, not just external rules.
Exactly. Self-awareness as the control mechanism. And this moral focus gets institutionalized in this amazing custom, the Feast of the Family.
Like this huge celebration.
Huge. It's a state honor given to any man who lives to see 30 descendants, children, grandchildren, great-grandchildren, all alive at the same time and over 3 years old.
And the state pays for the whole thing.
The entire feast.
Yeah.
Which shows how much they value generational continuity, family stability.
But it's more than just a party, isn't it? It has a function.
Definitely. It's described as a kind of family court. The patriarch, the tersan presides. They use it to sort out family arguments, help members in need, even censure bad behavior.
Yeah.
It's moral reinforcement at the family level, backed by the state.
And there's that symbol, the grapes.
The golden cluster of grapes, yeah. Handed to a chosen son. Purple grapes if the family line has more men, greenish yellow if more women. It's this beautiful symbol of state-approved lineage and, implicitly, the moral health of that family.
Okay, so you have this bedrock of moral discipline, self-reverence, family structure, and that foundation supports their main event, Solomon's house.
The College of the 6 Days works, yes.
And here's where it gets really interesting. This is the engine of their power.
And its goals are just staggering. Not just understanding, but control. The text stakes the aim clearly. The knowledge of causes and secret motions of things and the enlarging of the bounds of human empire to the affecting of all things possible.
Affecting of all things possible. I mean, to talk about ambition, that's basically saying they want to be able to do anything.
Pretty much. And the infrastructure they built for this, it's on a massive scale. Take the deep caves.
How deep are we talking?
600 fathoms. A fathom is 6 feet, so that's over 3,600 feet down. Nearly 3/4 of a mile. Or even deeper if they built them under hills.
Okay, deep. What for?
All sorts of research, coagulation, refrigeration, simulating mines, creating artificial metals. And maybe the most striking part, experiments in the prolongation of life for hermits who apparently live down there.
Wow. Okay, so exploring longevity, extreme environments.
Right. And they have the opposite, too. High towers, some half a mile high, built on mountains, for studying weather, meteors, winds, hail, fiery meteors, using the whole vertical geography for science.
It's comprehensive. What about biology? That seems like a major focus, too.
Huge. Their gardens and orchards aren't just for food. They practice advanced grafting, inoculation, making plants grow faster, slower, bigger, taste different, look different.
But it sounds like they go way beyond just tweaking existing plants.
Oh, yeah. They claim they can create entirely new plants, different from anything known, and even make one kind of plant turn into another.
That's basically botanical alchemy, changing the fundamental nature of things.
It is, and this manipulation extends to animals and humans. They have parks for dissections, trials wrought upon the body of man.
What kind of trials?
Get this, experiments to achieve continuing life in them, though diverse parts, which you account vital, be perished and taken forth.
Wait, keeping things alive even with vital organs removed? That sounds incredibly advanced, almost like creating biological machines. It's kind of shocking, frankly.
It is shocking, and hints at a level of biological control far beyond what Bacon's contemporaries could imagine. They even create commixtures of diverse kinds, hybrids that are fertile, not barren. So, new species.
And does this enhancement apply to the people themselves?
Directly. Through what they eat and drink. They have drinks aged for decades. Others that are incredibly refined, of extreme thin parts, designed to insinuate into the body. So potent, one type can supposedly pass right through the skin of your hand.
Okay, that's bizarre. And useful how?
Well, maybe for targeted delivery. But they also have special breads and meats. Some let people fast for very long periods. Others make their flesh physically harder, tougher, and increase strength significantly.
So they're not just optimizing health, they're actively enhancing the human body. Controlled evolution, almost.
Seems like it. Then you get to the pure technology, which sounds eerily modern. The perspective houses.
What were those?
They had tools for sight enhancement, far above spectacles and glasses in use, so clearly advanced microscopes, telescopes, plus demonstrations of light, color, artificial rainbows, halos.
And sound houses, too.
Yep. Experimenting with sound itself, quarter sounds, lesser slides, pushing music theory. They could imitate any sound, human voices, animals, birds, and they had weird echo tech.
Weird how?
Echoes that could return a sound louder than the original, or even change the words or letters in the echo. Sound manipulation, which then leads into military tech and transport. The engine houses?
Faster weapons.
Faster than muskets, yeah. Stronger forces than cannons. New kinds of gunpowder.
And the big ones.
The really big ones. Ships and boats for going underwater. Submarines.
Submarines? In the early 17th century?
Certain degrees of flying in the air. Flight. Maybe not airplanes as we know them, but controlled flight of some kind. This hidden island had mastered the sea and the air.
Centuries ahead of everyone else. So how did they manage all this research? Who did what?
It was highly structured. Solomon's house had a clear hierarchy. You had the merchants of light, 12 of them.
What did they do? Travel.
Exactly. They were the spies, essentially.
Yeah.
Bensalem's eyes and ears. They secretly left the island, gathered intelligence, books, scientific patterns from other nations, then brought it all back. Constant inflow of global knowledge while giving nothing away.
Clever. And under them?
Yeah, different specialist roles. 3 pioneers, or miners. They were the ones trying out new experiments, the real hands-on scientists.
Okay.
Then 3 dowrymen, or benefactors. Their job was to look at the experiments and figure out the practical applications, how to use them for man's life.
Making it useful.
Right. And finally, 3 interpreters of nature. These seem like the theoreticians. They took all the results, the discoveries, and synthesized them into bigger ideas, greater observations, axioms, and aphorisms, building the underlying theory.
It's like a complete R&D operation, from intelligence gathering to pure research to applied science and theory.
Absolutely. State-sponsored, highly organized science. But even with all this power, there's a final check. The oath of secrecy.
Secrecy even from their own government.
Some things, yes. The fellows of Solomon's house swear an oath to conceal certain inventions or discoveries from the state if they judge it necessary. They have autonomy. And ruled against hype, present the work plainly, pure as it is, no showing off, suppressing the scientific ego.
Fascinating. That layer of internal control.
So what does this all mean? When you put it together, Bensalem is this hidden scientific empire. They don't trade in gold or jewels, as the text says, but in God's first creature, which was light. knowledge.
And it's built on that combination of intense moral discipline, the chastity, the family structures.
And this absolutely radical scientific ambition, aiming for effecting of all things possible, control over nature.
So the European traveler, our narrator, gets shown all of this mind-blowing stuff, and then they give him a ton of money.
A huge amount, yeah. 2,000 ducats, proving they're not just smart, they're wealthy too.
Oh.
And then the head of Solomon's house, the father, gives him permission.
Permission to publish.
Exactly. I give thee leave to publish it for the good of other nations, for we here are in God's bosom, a land unknown. Tell the world about us.
And that's it. That's where it ends.
That's where Bacon stopped writing.
Yeah.
It just cuts off,
Uh-huh.
leaving you completely stunned by what this hidden society achieved, manipulating life, submersibles, flight, advanced weapons.
Which leaves us with a final, really provocative thought for you to think about. Why reveal this? Was Bacon using Bensalem as a model, trying to push Europe towards this kind of organized, state-funded science, a call to action?
Or, considering the sheer power they had, power they deliberately hid and controlled, was it maybe a warning? A veiled message about the incredible, potentially dangerous power that a scientifically advanced, morally unified, centralized state could achieve and maybe shouldn't unleash?
Yeah. What happens when you can actually affect all things possible? That's the question Bacon leaves hanging. Something to ponder.